Devil May Cry. I've acquired these rights myself so that the jabronis in Hollywood can't f this one up too. Let the speculation begin. You can read into that all you want. I'm out.
Wait.
6 months later, several months later, one eternity later.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
It's been a while, and we just want to know, where that though? What's going on, you guys? This is your boy RBG, aka the Random Black Gamer, bringing you another update video on Devil May Cry the anime. Yeah, you haven't heard that in a while, have you? I had to remind myself that this thing even existed, and it was announced back in 2018, back when things were great. It's been a while, and we just want to know, where that though? But before we answer these questions, guys, I want to ask you to do me the biggest favor and leave a like or dislike on this video. Yeah, I know it's a bit annoying getting this at the very beginning of the video when you haven't even watched it in its entirety, but the YouTube algorithm sort of encourages it. So if you rock with your boy and you know I'm going to bring that awesome content, then smash that like button. But if you feel like you've wasted 10 minutes of your time, then by all means, dislike this damn video. You're a rebel, you do what you want. But yeah, guys, Devil May Cry the anime. This was something that was announced all the way back in November of 2018 by the man himself, Addie Shankar, a talented film producer, director, and television showrunner who's continued to carve a lane for himself in the digital entertainment space. I can't say enough about this guy. He just gets it, and you just feel the genuineness that comes from him when he touts himself to be a fan of the things that he works on. His industry peers have proclaimed him to be the Quentin Tarantino of the digital generation. For those of you who don't understand what this means, Quentin Tarantino was always labeled the master of remixes, which essentially means that he can take these core elements from pre-established genres and incorporate his own signature stylistic elements to make it his own. And in a lot of ways, that's what Addie's managed to do with his Bootleg Universe, making these unauthorized one-shot satire films based off of pre-established properties. The guy is definitely style incarnate, and he has his two fingers pressed firmly on everything that I know and love, injecting his own creative juices into it and making it a fantastic thing to witness. I remember seeing his bootleg Power Rangers rated R movie and thinking to myself, man, why didn't I think of this? We've all seen the story of recruiting 5 teenagers with attitude to face this evil empress, but what if that thing had ramifications? What if these 5 teenagers with attitude were considered soldiers and that war had an effect on their psyche? That's what you get with Addie Shankar's bootleg Power Rangers movie. And there are many other awesome films under his filmography, such as Punisher Dirty Laundry, which was his direct response to the god-awful Punisher movie that failed at the box office. These series slapped harder than Will Smith, but nothing prepared us for what we were about to witness in 2017 when Castlevania the animated series dropped on Netflix. This thing came out of nowhere and lit the whole blogosphere up like fireworks. Something worth mentioning is that this thing was meant to be a direct-to-video production. It was acquired by Frederator Studios, who wanted to do an animated film adaptation of Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. Warren Ellis was brought on to be the screenwriter of the series, and they would consult with Koji Igarashi, who was already a lead producer on most of the Castlevania games. But it would prove to be a frustrating process since Warren Ellis and Koji Igarashi couldn't get on the same page, causing the project to go through development hell. Frederator Studios would eventually change course and try to do a live-action version of the script, and around 2012, Addie Shankar was approached to direct it. He had just finished working as the executive producer on the movie Dread, and he said that the party was looking to make a film in the style of the Underworld films with a similar budget, representative of a small studio with large independent backing. He would ultimately turn the project down, saying that it felt 250% wrong, as he had a deep respect for the original game and felt the live-action version would not treat it well. Shortly after the project was revitalized at the Powerhouse Animation Studios and Netflix struck a deal, they tapped Addie Shankar on the shoulder, and since neither entity sought to restrict his creative vision, he gladly agreed to do the project. And it went on to be a highly acclaimed animated series that everybody was talking about. I really love how they did the characters, like Trevor Belmont having this devil may care attitude, and I also thought it was a genius move to make Dracula, who's most commonly known as the villain of the franchise, a tragic figure that fans could feel sorry for, which was Addie Shankar's ultimate goal. According to Parrot Analytics, Castlevania was the most popular digital original series in the US during its July the 6th through the 19th release, with the show generating 23.1 million demand expressions on average. By the time the second season rolled around, that viewership doubled, garnering over 30 million viewers worldwide according to Netflix analytics, becoming one of the most successful original animated shows on Netflix. The fans couldn't stop raving about it. Powerhouse Animation proved that a Western studio could do something that's on the same level as a Japanese studio, if not better. And as you'd expect, people wanted to know what was going on in the creative mind of Addie Shankar. What exactly did he have planned for us next? Well, as mentioned earlier, in November of 2018, Addie decided to go ahead and announce something special in a sort of awkward way.
We are loving Castlevania. Thank you so much for joining us, but you have a big announcement for us.
It's 3 letters.
Okay.
D M C. Devil May Cry. I've acquired these rights myself so that the jabronis in Hollywood can't this one up too.
Yeah, that's right. He was going to be adapting the Devil May Cry series from Capcom, which he acquired the rights for himself, and he would be making the show alongside Castlevania to be a part of his bootleg multiverse. I'm not exactly sure how the legal details are with that, considering the fact that both entities belong to 2 separate gaming companies, but I am all here for it. You know, guest characters isn't anything new to video games, especially in the fighting game realm. And I would really love to see what they would do if these characters were to cross paths. Like, how would the timelines align? Because as we know, Devil May Cry exists in a more modern setting, while Castlevania takes on a more olden days approach. But then again, you do have other factors such as Sparta, who's been around for eons, it seems like, so maybe they could have him cross paths with one of the Beaumonts. The possibilities were endless, and Addie Shankar literally walked out the door and left it open for speculations.
Let the speculation begin. You can read into that all you want. I'm out.
Wait. So, like, could Dante and Alucard fight? Is this gonna be canon?
I must have made about 2 or 3 videos talking about this thing and wondering what they were going to implement in it. I thought that would be the perfect time to do, given the fact that they would probably give out these updates talking about the current status of it. But when it comes to animating a series, it's a lot different than it is when it comes to developing a video game. And I usually don't mind waiting to see what they have in store for us. Like, I feel like we shouldn't rush any kind of creator when it comes to making their vision come to life. Because at the end of the day, we want to see a product that looks good. We want to see these things fully realized. We want to see Dante doing things that we've seen him do in the video game, all the while seeing new things that Addie can bring to the table. Because that's one of the beautiful things about the Castlevania animated series on Netflix, right? They're essentially able to adapt these games such as Dracula's Curse and Curse of Darkness and Symphony of the Night, but they do it in a way that still makes the story unique and fresh. And they also implement all these different characters and provide enough fan service to satiate our appetite. So yeah, taking that into consideration, you don't want to breathe over the shoulder of the artist that's trying to create a masterpiece. But I do believe that the artist should provide us with something to give us an idea of what we'll be seeing in the actual show, i.e. a teaser trailer or key art. Something, but we didn't get any of that, and Addie Shankar hasn't said a word about it. But to be fair, he has shown different things featuring Devil May Cry and asked questions to fans on what they think about certain styles of Dante. I'm not sure if he's taken all of this feedback into account and he's applying it to the anime, or he's just reminding us that this anime is still a thing, but he hasn't necessarily said anything directly about it. Anytime he received comments asking to get a status update on the production of Devil May Cry the anime, he never responded to it, leaving people to think that it was canned. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, as optimistic as I am about something, I was beginning to lose faith. That's until I discovered an interview that he did talking about the anime literally while making this video. I kid you not. Yes, that's right, Tech Raptor, a YouTube channel that's basically dedicated to this website that talks about video games. They asked Addie Shankar about all the projects he has coming down the pipeline, and one of the most specific ones they talked about was Devil May Cry. And he said this:
Devil May Cry.
All of the season 1 scripts are done, so yay.
Yay indeed.
I collaborated with a very talented writer named Alex Larson on the scripts. The scripts are rad, and I wanted to execute them in a manner that would make my fellow DMC fans proud.
So yeah, as you hear guys, season 1 script is basically done. It's being written by a guy named Alex Larson, and I didn't know who this guy was. I had to look him up, but apparently he was a battle rapper that went by the name Kid Twist. He co-wrote the loosely autobiographical film Bodied from the director Joseph Kahn and producer Eminem. Surprisingly enough, Addie worked on this film and made an appearance up in it, so I wouldn't be surprised if he linked up with Alex and said that he was going to be working on a DMC anime. He seems to love working alongside people he's already had a working relationship with. The director for this film, Joseph Kahn, had already worked on the Punisher Dirty Laundry short for Addie Shankar, and he seems to be very confident in Alex's writing, saying that the script is rad and it's going to stay true to what Devil May Cry is. Based on what I've read from Alex's battle rap history, he's known for his humor and rebuttals, and I think that's going to fall perfectly in line with Devil May Cry, because as we know, Dante likes to make a lot of smart remarks to throw his enemies off their game, and I'm really hoping they get that right, because that's something that we didn't really see a lot of in the previous anime that was done by Madhouse. Just seeing Dante talk a lot of crap, he kind of felt more in line with what he was in DMC 1 as opposed to DMC 3 through 5. But anyways, let's continue listening to what our good friend Addie has to say about this project.
The deal with the network is at the 1 yard line. My schedule is freeing up shortly, so production should start at the top of next year. A question that you're not asking, but you're thinking, hey man, you said you had the rights to DMC like a few years ago. Like, why the hell did it take so long? But my intention is with Devil May Cry, and again with everything, but specifically Devil May Cry, is not just to replicate a past hit; it's to innovate. Right? It's got to have its own sleek aesthetic and bombastic identity, and a project only gets to that level of layered richness if its creator meticulously pours their soul into every step of the process. And that's what I've done, and that's what I intend to keep doing on this project.
As you hear, this basically just answers the questions that we've been asking, and it's why he's been taking so long to even talk about this thing, and it's because he wants to make sure it's right. This dude needs enough time to cook up something that's gonna blow our minds. He wants to meticulously craft this thing that's gonna be perfect. And I like how he basically just elaborates on something that I had talked about earlier, which is like making sure that even though it captures the spirit of DMC, it doesn't try to repeat everything one to one. Not only is that element of surprise going to be there for the casual viewers, but it's also going to be there for the hardcore fans who are expecting to see things that played out in the video games the same way, but it doesn't, and that's a good thing. Like, I don't care to watch something exactly how it happened in a manga or anime or video game. That's why I think a lot of fans love the live action One Piece series, because it actually dares to do something different while maintaining the core essence of what One Piece is. And I feel like Addie is really trying to do that with this Devil May Cry animated series. It's made by a fan for the fans. From what I hear, his schedule was very booked at the time that he announced this thing, which is why we weren't really hearing much about it. But since he now has more time on his hand, he can devote most of his attention to Devil May Cry. He mentioned that the project will be going into production the following year, and at the time of this interview, it was done in 2021, so the production should have began in 2022. So I'm thinking that we'll probably see something about this later this year or possibly next year, but we'll just have to wait and see. But that's all I got for you guys today. What did you think about this news? Are you glad that Addie is still working on this thing and it's in full effect? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, I'm going to ask you guys to like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. But if you truly enjoyed this video, it would help me out a lot if you shared it with all your friends and followers on all the different social media outlets. Sharing is caring. But once again, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.